show, the big show. Mm, mm, mm. Here comes the big show. Oh, good morning, my neighbors. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you don't like my Pledge of Allegiance, that's fine. You can go fuck yourself. On to the video. Oh yeah. The filter needs to be cleaned out. How I know the filter needs to be cleaned out is you look at those two jets. The two fountain jets. They should be intersecting. Once they start backing away from each other, the filter's starting to get dirty. See this bush over here all by itself? This flower bush, whatever kind of flower this is. Ask me one day to tell you guys about this bush. Ask me one day. You're going to find it very interesting and creepy at the same time. But it is literally, it's got hundreds of buds all over it. I'm going to give you 4 things that you should be asking your mechanic to check that you don't, or that you should do yourself. 4 things. Lately I've been knocking this home. I've been driving this into people to the point where they're like, oh, can you stop talking about this? No, I absolutely will not. Number 1, that you do not ask your mechanic to check or clean for you: sunroof drains. If your mechanic doesn't know how to do that, tell him that he should go to Home Depot and get a thing of weed eater string and feed the weed eater string, the heavy duty weed eater string, down your sunroof drains and rod your ports. I even got to a point where at one time I made a special epoxy end. I took and stuck the weed eater string down inside a pen cap and I filled it full of epoxy, and when the epoxy got hard, I take that piece of epoxy from the pen cap and I put it inside my drill, and I feed the weed eater string down inside the drain tube, and I just real slowly, and I just let it flop around inside that hole, and it'll clean off any residual that's on the sides of the tube as well. Second place, the bottom of your doors. All of your doors of your vehicle need to be checked out for debris plugging the drain ports on the doors. The third place that nobody ever checks is your cowl for your windshield wipers. Every manufacturer has a drain type setup for the cowl on the car. What happens is that cowl can plug up with debris from leaves and stuff falling from the trees, and it won't drain properly when water gets down in it, and what it'll do is it'll back up and it'll actually start draining into the vehicle. Or it will back up in the wintertime, or right around wintertime when it gets hot and cold and it's just enough to start freezing overnight. It will start freezing and it will lock up that windshield wiper motor or something like that. On the town cars, the Grand Marquis, the Interceptors, they have an issue with that nobody ever talks about. The center drain plugs up and there's a pocket in there that fills up full of debris and water, and then it starts to ice up and it ruins the motor of the car. And then one day you'll go out and, if you notice in the morning time when it's nice and cold, the wipers, you can't clear the window with it, but midway through the day, it gets just warm enough to melt that ice around that wiper motor, so it turns to water around it before it freezes again, and all of a sudden they're working. You're like, what the heck, man? In the morning time they don't work, but in the afternoon they do. Well, there you go, free answer for you. And then there's also channels and stuff in the bottom of the body. Water can collect in your floor. If your sunroof is draining and your wiper cowl is plugged up, or if the sunroof is plugged up, the channels, it'll drain through the sides of the plastic, the headliner and stuff, ruin the headliner, turn to mildew and mold. It'll get down in the floor. If the doors are plugged up, sometimes they can back up and go over the door seal and drain down into the side channels of the door. If the AC drain is plugged up, it can back up and drain right into your door. I remember my 93 notchback Mustang. I was going down the road one day, I had the AC on, cruising, having a good time. I was going on a long trip, and then all of a sudden I went to go make this turn, and I heard sloshing, and then water came up over the plastic lip up underneath the dash, and I could see it dripping on the floor. I was like, oh shit, I got a heater core problem. And I jumped out real quick and put my hand underneath it, and I was like, it's water, that's not antifreeze. It's because the drain plugged up, and I didn't have any tools or anything on me at the time other than just change a tire. So I pulled over at a local mom and pop garage, and the guy was like, oh, pull in real quick. I put my car on the lift. And then he looks up and says, you see that black nipple right there on your firewall in the engine bay? That's to let the debris or the water drain out of your HVAC box. And he takes a little bit of shop air and kind of stays far away from it, and he blows the shop air up into it, and he actually blew the debris back into the housing, and it settled, and the water started coming out like crazy. But about 3 months later, that nugget that he blew back in there made its way back into the drain and plugged up again. I actually had to fish it out, clean it out, and then it never happened again. So there's 4 areas that need to be cleaned that you don't ask your technician to clean, or you don't clean yourself. Your sunroof drains, your door drains, your cowl, your wiper cowl drains, and your HVAC box. That's my tip of the day. Short video, right to the point. A lot of people have been complaining about the Pledge of Allegiance lately. I don't care. Fuck them. I chose violence today. They don't like it. They don't have to be here. Move on. A lot of people running their mouth lately, saying a bunch of negative stuff. Guess what? Attitudes changed. Fuck them. Yeah, we're gonna get our maintenance right, and I'm gonna help all the other people that want to be helped. And look at this. What are you doing? You have water in the house. Hey. Oh. She wants the water from the faucet. Hey. Go back in the house. Go. Go back in the house. Go. 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 Get in there. You all have a great day. Be blessed.